So now we have technically a third task that is mandatory. First things first, we need to decide where to start investigating. The logical starting point would be the Grand Market itself, the scene of the crime. Can't argue with that. We should probably get statements from those two merchants before anything else. Indeed, I anticipated they conned themselves by now, so perhaps we can get something a bit more substantial from them. We still have to ascertain their innocence or guilt in the matter as well. We'll need to keep a close eye on the time, though. If we miss the last train to Heimdall, we'll have no way of getting back to the academy today. Plus, we've been given other tasks too, and I'd like to get them done. In short, we need to keep moving. Our deadline is 9 p.m. Let's use every minute we have to accomplish everything we possibly can. Understood. You bet? Right. So can I do the other tasks first? Do I have to do the, No, you have to investigate first. So I'm assuming they're probably going to give you time, like, later. Alright, let's just hit up the Grand Market. I'm probably going to do the other quests first whenever they give me the option for them. And to think, I was ecstatic to finally participate in the famous Celtic Grand Market. What did I ever do to deserve this? Excuse me. You. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to see me acting like that. I hope you can forgive me for my inappropriate behavior. Seems really down. Quite understandable. He's a merchant in a busy market, unable to do business. So, what brings you here? Did you need something from me? Well, actually, Green explained that he and the classmates were investigating the truth behind what had happened the previous night. You're investigating? That's right. We really appreciate it if you can answer a few of our questions. You may be able to help us find the true culprit. I suppose it can't hurt. It's better than doing nothing, at least. You don't have to sound so pessimistic. Well, can you blame me? You're students at a military academy. You're not exactly ace detectives. That is true, but we're still determined to find out who did this. We may be able to recover your goods. Cooperating with us could prove quite fruitful. Okay, fine. I never said I wouldn't help you, did I? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say, though. It's not like I saw anything worth mentioning. Didn't? As soon as I made sure my stall was ready to open the next morning, I left everything set up and went home. The other merchants around here can vouch for that. Guess I shouldn't have left the stall unattended, though. By the time I got in, it was too late. The deed had been done. So by morning, the stall had already been destroyed and your goods stolen? Come to think of it, what goods were stolen exactly? Well, I have a sample with me, actually. It looks like a ring. An accessory? Is this a brand that's popular in the capital? Been a real hit lately, yeah. I was hoping to bring the I don't... Dude. This game is bringing out so many words I've never heard. Fod here by selling them at the market. This is the only one I have left now. I dread to think just how much money I lost in one single night. That damn coward sabotaging my business. It's much too early to be jumping to conclusions. Do you have any evidence that proves his culpability? No, but he's clearly the prime suspect. He was so against this idea of taking turns sharing this spot with me. I keep pressing X too fast. I'm going to get him to give me my goods back no matter what it takes. Please try to stay calm. You do know that if you cause any more trouble, the provincial army really will arrest you, right? Yeah, I know, but it's just a matter of justice. You can't just act like nothing ever happened. It's wrong on general principle. I'm begging you, please get my goods back, whatever it takes. I can't promise success, but I swear to you, we'll do everything we can. That much I can promise. I think that's everything this merchant knows. Let's try questioning the other one. Where are you? You're right here. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but we could use a moment of your time. You're those kids from that military academy, right? What do you want from me? I've got nothing to sell you, obviously. Even if I did have something to sell, I've got no place to sell it. I'm basically ruined. And to top it all off, the provincial army and that other damn merchant are acting like I'm the one who did it. He's not taking this very well, is he? Hard to blame him, but we need to see if he knows anything that might help us. Well, you see, we explained that he and the classmates were yeah, same thing. You're investigating this mess, huh? Okay. So would you consider cooperating with us? Sure, why not? Not getting my hopes up, as I'm sure you can understand. But hell, I've got nothing to lose. Not exactly a vote of confidence. Hey, he's willing to cooperate. I'd say we cut him some slack and hear him out. So about last night, at the time the incident actually happened. Last night, huh? I don't know how much help I can be if that's what you're asking about here. See, I left the market right after arguing with that merchant yesterday, and I didn't come back till morning. Stayed over at a friend's place. Another merchant just got pissed drunk and ranted at him all night. And you're certain of this? Positive. Ask my friend if you don't believe me. He'll back me up. I wandered over here with an awful hangover this morning. What I found gave me a hell of a start. My whole stall in shambles. And as if that weren't bad enough, all the processed food I was going to sell were just gone, without a trace. So the goods that were stolen were all processed foods. That's right, nuts, cheese, bacon, all foods that have long shelf life, made with local ingredients. Those sound delicious. Seeing all my stuff gone really sobered me up. It was like I hadn't been drinking all day. Or at all, rather. And that's when I went over to that fool's stall to make him pay for it. Why'd you go straight to him? Because he was the one who did it, of course. He smashed my stall so he can have that spot all to himself. That doesn't make any sense. If Heinz did it, then why was his stall destroyed too? He must have done that to himself. That makes zero sense at all. Probably figured if he destroyed his own stall, no one would believe he could be responsible. I don't know, that seems pretty unlikely. It's a bit excessive. That makes zero sense at all. Why would someone destroy their own stall? I get what the game is telling me, but why would he destroy his own stall just to prove a point? It just sounds really redundant. While I understand your frustration, baseless accusations do no one any favors, and only cloud the true issue. But it's so frustrating. I've lost so much money because of this. I might have to shut up shop for good. That is bad. If I could at least get my goods back, maybe I could salvage enough to stay afloat. But what are the odds of that? None of the other merchants saw anybody do anything, and the provincial army sure ain't about to help. I'm finished, pure and simple. All the hard work I put in getting this far, and this is how dreams end for me. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not sure how much we'll actually be able to do for you. We'll do everything in our power to help you find some closure. So cheer up, okay? I do appreciate that, but again, I ain't about to get my hopes up. Good luck, though. So much dialogue. That's all the two victims of this crime have to say, it seems. What does everybody think? I can't be sure, but I really don't think either of them are responsible. There's no way. I think it's someone else. Probably probably related to the provincial army. That's my guess. Both merchants certainly have adequate motive to damage the other's stall. The chance of both committing the crime at the same time, without crossing paths is virtually nil. It's not impossible that they were just out to steal others' merchandise. I don't believe that's what happened. Both of them have alibis confirming that they were somewhere else where the crime took place. I'm inclined to agree. I just can't see either of the merchants being responsible for what happened. So we're going to have to look elsewhere to find viable suspects. Where though? I mean, who could possibly have done it? It's impossible to say right now. We don't have any solid leads. We know who the culprit wasn't, but how are we supposed to start narrowing down who it was? The market itself seems unlikely to produce any further clues, so we should focus our attention elsewhere. Actually, there's one thing that's bugging me. There's one group of people involved in the whole situation whose actions don't seem to make much sense. Maybe if we could work out the reasoning behind their strange behavior, we can come one step closer to finding our culprit. Whom do you mean? Talking about... Yeah, provincial army, definitely. A market manager and his wife. This is not right because the merchants in the market. It's a provincial army. A provincial army. They haven't done a thing to try and solve this crime despite it happening right under their nose. And that begs the question, why not? Huh, the market manager said they're refusing to fulfill their role due to the tax issue. Which means the provincial army should refuse to intervene in quarrels within the market as well. If that's the case, then why did they come and intervene this morning? Now that you mention it, that really doesn't make any sense. Their methods were atrocious, but the fact is, they brought the dispute to an end almost instantly. They did get involved. Yeah, 1 minute they're refusing to do anything, the next they're taking a stand. It's definitely suspicious. My point exactly. That's definitely something unnatural about the way they're conducting themselves. And since we have no other leads, what do you say we go to the Army's guardhouse and take a look around? We might be able to learn something from them that could aid us in our investigation. Huh, that may be worth an attempt. Guardhouse isn't too far from here either. Let's head on over and see what we can find out. AP increased by 1. I'm assuming you only get that if you guess the provincial army, which I did, luckily. My goodness, we're like 46 minutes into recording and I haven't even done a single battle. This game has a lot of text, which I am all down for. Alright, well, I guess we'll just visit the army house. Huh? Aren't you those students from that military academy, was it? What are you doing here? We're terribly sorry to trouble you, but we were hoping you might be able to help us with something. Could we ask you a few questions about the incident that occurred at the Grand Market this morning? What? What does that have to do with you? We're visiting this town at a field study as students of Thor's military academy. And we would very much appreciate the chance to see how experienced soldiers such as yourselves handle difficult everyday situations. This seems a perfect opportunity for an anecdotal case study. It could prove most invaluable to our education if you permit it. Huh. Alright, stay here. I'll see what I can do. It looks like we might be able to hear what they have to say for themselves after all. Nicely done, Laura. In times like these, we need to make good use of our positions. No one can fault a student for wanting to learn after all. Now comes the hard part. Oh, this makes me nervous. Well, let's just wait and see what we can get out of them. Remember, it's not always what they say that matters, but how they say it. And even more importantly, what they don't say. Right. Yo, I'm with Reen. That's exactly what it's about. I need to cough. Oh my goodness. I hope you appreciate us taking time out of our busy schedules for this. So what do you want? And make it quick. I'm a busy man, you know. He's not even trying to keep up appearances. Unbelievable. I'll be brief then. Came to discuss the incident at the market this morning. Would we be correct in assuming that the provincial army will be conducting no further investigation? Is that all you came to ask? Is that all? Should the armed forces charged with maintaining peace in this region not be taking this matter more seriously? Or I'm not sure. Huh, you got a big mouth for someone your age. It seems you have a lot to learn about how the military units actually work. What do you mean? Let me ask you this. What should the #1 priority of the provincial army be in order to maintain the status quo? I'll tell you. Their #1 priority should be to enforce the will of the region's ruling lord, Duke Alberea. As members of the provincial army, the will of the nobility is absolute. We're just following our orders, protecting what duty we have to protect. I assume you're referring to the local petition against the sales tax increase. So you're saying as long as the petition isn't withdrawn, the Grand Market isn't something you have a duty to protect? Interpret my words however you want. We're soldiers, we will follow our orders. That's how the military works. We don't need some fresh military academy inductees telling us how to do our jobs. This is nuts. Does he even have a tiny shred of shame? I was hoping we'd be able to get something out of him, but it sure doesn't seem likely anymore. So is that it then? Hope this has been enlightening. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a job to do. Wait, would you mind answering just one more question? Elliot. Huh, fine, ask it. Well, do you have any idea what might have happened to the goods Marco was handling? You know, the accessory merchant. All he had left was that one sample. What are you talking about? That merchant from the capital, Hines, was the one who was planning on selling the accessories. What? What did you just say? What are you all looking at me like that for? How do you know that? I was under the impression you hadn't investigated the matter. Elliot got him good. How peculiar. We only discovered what each of the merchants was intending to sell a short while ago ourselves. Sir, we have our own ways of finding these things out. You do well not to underestimate us. Now, we wasted enough time answering your questions. We're leaving. Nice job for Elliot. He got him good. You think the fact that they know what each of the merchants was selling means they did investigate the matter after all. The burglary happened last night, and it was only first discovered this morning. Realistically, I don't think there was any opportunity during that time for them to do any digging. Not without running into this. Agreed, I suspect they knew what each merchant was planning to sell well in advance of yesterday's incident. So that would be easy information for them to learn, since Duke Albrea must have issued permits for both stalls. That's true, and the army would have no trouble gaining access to transaction records for something like that. Why would they bother? Maybe they needed to know so they could prepare. Prepare for what? I get the impression that the incident at the market has been carefully planned out for a while now. I don't think those two merchants being given permits for the same spot was a coincidence either. It was probably done to get them to start fighting, so they could get robbed while there was tension between them. Basically to create a situation that couldn't be brought under control without the army's help. The two merchants were being used all along. That seems to fit perfectly with what happened this morning. Meanwhile, the provincial army has shown no interest in actively working toward a solution, unless the market manager chooses to withdraw his position. So they waited for things to get out of hand, then showed up to force both parties into an uncomfortable truce. Eventually, the merchants will get worn down enough that they feel like they have no choice but to withdraw the petition. This is turning out to be an even shadier situation than I thought. Yeah, but thanks to Elliot, I do believe we finally uncovered the truth of the matter. That was indeed some very quick thinking you displayed, Elliot. You'd make a fine military strategist. I just got lucky, that's all. So what we know is the provincial army is somehow involved with the actual perpetrators of this crime. The only way to solve it once and for all, though, seems to be, well, find them and catch them. If this was carried out by the members of the provincial army, that's not going to be an easy task. No, I don't think anyone from the army was directly involved. The soldiers here are far too proud to dirty their hands with such escapades. I tend to agree. Really, whoever the culprits are, I doubt they're still here in Keldick. There just aren't too many viable places to hide such a huge volume of goods without them being found. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they escaped by train. No, that can't be. Boarding a train with that much merchandise would raise suspicion for sure. It's been less than a day since the burglary happened. They can't have gotten far. Maybe we should ask around on the main roads and see if anyone saw anything out of the ordinary. Someone suspicious may have been spotted leaving or entering the town. That sounds like a wise course of action. Come, let's resume our search. We mustn't let this cowardly thief run free. I wouldn't dream of it. Oh my goodness, there's so much reading. So much dialogue. Alright, well, we got a good lead. Good job on Elliot's part. Didn't expect Elliot to get them and discover them as good as he did. What's up, little girl? Lulu, are you okay? Look what that nasty man did to her. Something the matter? I was just chasing after Lulu near the west exit of the town, and there was this weird man asleep along the side of the street. Weird man? To sleep in the midst of a bustling town like this, oblivious to its dangers, suggests he might possess formidable skill. Or he was really drunk. The nasty smell coming off of him nearly made little Lulu faint. That's terrible. It really was. I don't know who he is, but I'll have to keep an eye on Lulu to make sure she keeps her distance from him. Huh. So he's not from this town then? I'm not sure. I only started seeing him around a few days ago. I've never seen him before that. Really now, that sounds like a lead if I've ever heard one. If he's drinking in the middle of the day and isn't Instructor Sarah, then we know he's not a merchant at the very least. Yeah, I think we should go talk to him. Let's go have a look near the west exit, see if we can track him down. When on earth am I gonna get to do these other tasks? Oh well, this guy's just drinking beer. You know, no big deal. This guy reeks. How much has he put down? It's only midday, but he's already completely blitzed. I don't think this is the man we're looking for. I think he'd have trouble pulling off a robbery. Sir, are you alright? We can help you back home if you'd like. Leave me alone. I'm not reading this as it's intended because I don't like drunk talk. I'm just a good-for-nothing who's just lost his job. Looking after that nature park with my whole life. Nature park? You kids ain't heard of it? Lunaria Nature Park's to the northwest of here. No. And then you lost your job. Yeah, out of nowhere too. I gave him life to that job I did, and then he came and took it all from me. That damned official just showed up out of nowhere and told me I was sacked. You can't just have a man's livelihood off like... Yeah, no. Yeah, we could see that. Something about this doesn't sound right. I agree. Hardly seems fair to take a man's job away from him without a good reason. Right? I'm so glad somebody understands how I feel. There's no way a bunch of kids like that are gonna do a better job than me. Kids? I was drinking here last night too, see? And a bunch of kids in ranger outfits went walking out of town through the west exit. Weird thing was, there was carrying a bunch of wooden boxes too, in the middle of the night. Sounds like our perpetrators. Kids these days, I tell you. You don't think they could have been nature park? I wouldn't have even considered it. The park would no doubt provide a large enough area. It fits perfectly. Yeah, they'd have no trouble stashing the merchandise there undetected. Lock the entrance, leave a couple of lookouts, and no one would suspect a thing for a very long time. And if a provincial official was the one to tell him he was fired, it's practically a smoking gun. I'd say something useful or something. Don't know what I said, but if I helped you out, why not buy me a drink? I would suggest you start trying to sober up yourself instead. A good chance we may be able to recover both your park and your job. What? We know our next stop. As soon as we're fully prepared, let's head out to Lunaria Nature Park. Right. Okay, so that's where we go. Perfect. Now we can do our quest. Alright. We're gonna definitely do these quests first. So, I definitely want to do the quest that involves battling, because man, that was a lot of dialogue. We're like, I've been recording for an hour. This game has a lot of text, a lot of world building. Love it. West Celtic Road. So we're gonna do that first.